efforts of PJ Ryan, it ends up in the back of the Kilkenny net, and they have conceded another goal, this time from play. Just watch, Mulcahy's handling of the ball was brilliant, and he dished it off here to the De La Salle player, and in spite of the goalkeeper's stick getting to it, it ends at the back of the net, and it's 118 to 212. It's getting closer, 3 minutes left. Now Owen McGrath swept in here towards Seamus Prendergast. Is there another score in Waterford? Will they cause heartbreak for Kilkenny once again? Ken McGrath maybe. The ground stroke, it's gone whizzing and fizzing up into the air, but wide of the intended target. Great chance. And Seamus Prendergast, another old warhorse for Waterford down the years, into Ken McGrath. The ground strike just misdirected. Again, a scramble for possession in the middle of the park. Weary looking players at this stage, given their all in a very exciting second half. Eddie Brennan now takes off, getting away from Declan. Prendergast has a player outside him. It's Owen Guinan trying to step inside, and he puts it high and over the bar for his 5th point. It's another one for Owen Guinan, and there's the final whistle, and Kilkenny finished their Allianz Division 1 programme with victory here. Waterford, when they brought on the experienced players in the second half in particular, gave a good account of themselves, but Kilkenny had just enough in the tank, ahead by some 11 points at half-time. It finished at Nolan Park. Kilkenny 1 goal and 20 points, Waterford 2 goals and 12.
Obviously everything gears towards the championship now, and Leinster is going to be very, very difficult this year. I'm not sure how today's matches went, but I know you have a lot of competitive teams in Leinster right now, and that'll be our first option. Leinster semi-final is all we're looking at there now, and so we'll put everything into preparing for that. But the championship is going to be very, very serious. There's so many contenders there at this stage, but there's something very much for hurling supporters to look forward to.
So Kilkenny clock up their 4th win of the league campaign, and both counties, as Brian said there, now turn their minds to other matters. Declan, there mightn't be too much at stake obviously in that match day from a league point of view, but for Brian Cody and for Davy Fitz, still a chance to do a few mind games with the players.
Yeah, well, I think even Brian Cody, I think the league wasn't under their list of priorities today, or for the year, sorry, and neither was Waterford, let's be honest. They've tried out a good few players, and I think Davy will be happy enough. The likes of putting Eddie Brennan out centre forward, again, it's just trying to mix it up a bit and, waking up lads a bit like that. But I think they'll both have got a bit out of the league, if not as much as they might have liked.
You want to mention one player today for Kilkenny who put in a very good performance. Yeah,
TJ Reid. I mean, he's the captain this year, and he's going to be the one who's going to be expected to be one of the leaders, because like with Ballyhale for the last few years, himself and Henry have been the 2 main leaders. And he took off some superb scores here today, picking up from his Ballyhale season, and he's one of the guys. Now there's a few other guys there, the likes of young Owen Guinan, Richie Hogan, Michael Grace. They're all very lively. John Mulhall had a great league, but they're really untested, I suppose. TJ has proven pedigree, and he's the one I think Kilkenny will look to step into the breach and be one of the new sparks and one of the new kids on the block come championship time. Sorry. He's all round game. He's very, very good to field the ball. He's a great strike left and right, and he links up well with all the players. And he's a guy who, he'll fit in there seamlessly into the Kilkenny attack, no problem to him.
Has the skills, no doubt about that. Let's talk about Waterford. You saw good things in Waterford today, and then some other things that weren't all that great.
Yeah, I think in the first half they were probably still over in Malaga or somewhere like that in their warm weather climate, because their first touch and their general cohesion today was very, very poor from 1 to 15. See there, just an easy ball was missed again on TJ Reid there, popped over that ball easy. We're very, very lethargic all over the place, and again, little balls like that missed. Chad Fitzpatrick nipping in there, like those, obviously championship hurling, that should have been launched down the field into their very, very good forward line. Again, the second half, when they really got into the game, they used the play, but they had to bring on their bigger guns, the Kevin Moorns, Seamus Prendergast, Mulcahy, these guys. They made the difference, and you can see they're just using the ball. The first half was just helter-skelter stuff, but generally in the second half they got going, and it just goes to show what they can do. They found a couple of players like Kevin Moore particularly impressed me all league, and again here today when he came on, he was one of the main instigators of the Waterford fight back. And bar like Ken McGrath at the end, he had a very, very good chance. That would have brought him back level.
Yeah.
And I think they would have went on to win the game. But Dave, you'll be happy enough. He tried out a few lads, but I think, again, both managers will have to come back to basics from the championship.
All right, Declan, thanks for that. Time for another break here on Sunday Sport. When we come back, we'll be looking at the Division 2 situation in the National Hurling League, plus a report from Annual Congress. See you again shortly. We'll have a full roundup of the weekend's Allianz National Hurling League results in a little bit later on in the programme. But right now to some important issues regarding the overall situation in Division 2. Well, Clare already assured of their place in the divisional final, but who would join them depended on two of today's matches. At Dr Cullen Park, Carlow took on Laois, while at Wexford Park, Antrim were the visitors. Our reporters Joe Stack and Siobhan Madigan.
Wexford knew only a win would do against Antrim at Wexford Park today, and Owen Quigley started his first game in a year following a cruciate knee ligament injury, but Paul Roach failed a late fitness test for the Model men and Niall Prendergast started. Antrim, with 4 league defeats, were playing for pride today, and although they were off the mark early in the game, they found themselves behind after 10 minutes, 1-5 to 2 points. Wexford's opening goal came the long ball route. It was Rory Jacob in and around the square, getting the vital touch right at the end of this. But the Saffrons were to get back into this game. Darren Hamill with a good run, and eventually Noel Carton, the Wexford goalkeeper, was penalised for over-carrying. Centre forward Neil Berg struck the free. It was initially defended quite well by the Wexford men, but they didn't manage to clear it. And the eagle-eyed referee Seamus Roach then spotted this wild pull by Kieran Kenny on the Antrim player. Berg was to get a second bite of the cherry, and this time he made no mistake. But Antrim were to be reduced to 14 men right on half-time. PJ O'Connell saw red for this challenge on Rossiter. Into the second half, and it was to be an all different story. Wexford dominated. The high ball in here from Gizzy Ling, and Atkinson was right on the end of it to finish it to the net to draw Wexford level. They got a third goal soon after. Again, it came through a similar note, an error by the keeper, and this time Atkinson with his second of the day. They say goals win games. It was certainly the case in point for Wexford this afternoon. On this occasion, again, it was the flick of Rory Jacob, and Wexford were in cruise control. In the end, they ran out comfortable winners, 4-18 to 1-12, and it's they who will play Clare in the Division 2 final 2 weeks today.
A win was vital for both sides at Dr Cullen Park this afternoon, with defeat for Wexford also a necessity to secure a final berth. Laois held the upper hand early on. Neil Foyle's point 9 minutes in, giving them a 4-1 advantage. Carlow had little in response, and Laois continued to hold sway for the remainder of the first half. Zane Keenan helping his side to an 8 points to 2 advantage. Referee Tony Carroll handed out 3 red cards early in the second half, and now with numerical advantage as well, Laois pressed it home. Keenan's goal 18 minutes in, putting real daylight between the sides. There was brief hope of a home fight back when Craig Doyle found the net 10 minutes from the end, but when Carlow then had a third man dismissed, their fate today was sealed. Laois's advantage was never less than 5 points. John Purcell with the game's final score. It saw the Laois men run out winners on a 116 to 110 scoreline.
So then it's Clare and Wexford for the Divisional 2 final in Thurles on May the 2nd. Declan, things were a bit shaky at the start of the league for Wexford, but did what they've had to do and made that final.
Well, that was it. It was always really going to come down to Clare and Wexford final. As you said, they came unstuck against Carlow, but I think that when it really mattered, it went down to Clare, and even though they had a shaky start, they came back and got a draw, which was great at the time considering what they were down to. So it was always going to be a Wexford Clare final. Fairness to Carlow and Laois, they made great strides, and hopefully that'll, you know, take them on even further, give them further belief. But it's important for either of these two sides to be up in Division 1, Wexford and Clare.
Sure.
And that's all to play for now, as I say.
Okay, it certainly is. One other aspect, there were 4 players, by the way, sent off in that match, 3 of them from Carlow today, which just brings us on to a discipline issue and another issue, Tomás Mulcahy. Yesterday there was a Tipperary Senior Hurling Championship match between Carrickdavins and Ballingarry down in Kilsheed. Willie Barrett was the referee there. He was set upon by somebody who ran in from the crowd with the hurley, who struck him a number of times in actual fact. Match had to be abandoned. Now happily I was talking to Willie today, he's fine, he's a bit bruised and battered and obviously shook, but these kind of things shouldn't be happening.
No, certainly, and I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, you can understand frustrations maybe of supporters or mentors on the line and stuff like that, but that's inexcusable, Michael. That should never happen in any sport, and particularly somebody running onto a field with a hurley. You know, I mean, the damage that somebody can do to somebody. You know, and we brought in the health and safety